All right, let's jump into an ancient folktale that has a surprisingly modern message for all of us. It's a story about a man named Nasruddin and a recipe, but it all really kicks off with this one very strange line. So, get this. But the joke's on you, you forgot the recipe. What? What does that even mean? It sounds completely absurd, doesn't it? But stick with me here, because that one little sentence, it's the key to unlocking a very common trap that, well, I think we all fall into from time to time. Okay, so to really get what that quote's all about, we need to hear the actual story. So let's start at the beginning with the crow, the liver, and the recipe. So our story starts with this guy named Nasruddin. Now, he's a pretty famous character in folktales all the way from the Middle East to Central Asia. And on this particular day, his wife gives him a really important mission. She sends him off to the market. Sounds simple enough, right? And what's this big mission? Well, he needs to buy the perfect liver. I mean, this isn't just any old liver, It's the star ingredient for his absolute favorite meal. You can just imagine him walking along, already daydreaming about how good that dinner is going to be. But then, disaster. As he's walking home, probably humming to himself, bam! Out of nowhere, a crow just swoops down and attacks him. It's sudden, it's chaotic, a total surprise. And just like that, the crow gets what it came for. It snatches that precious liver right out of his hands and takes off. Nasruddin is just left there, stunned, empty-handed. The most important part of his dinner, gone. So, as this crow is flying off into the distance, Nasruddin shakes his fist at it and shouts this just incredible line. He yells, "You accursed creature, but the joke's on you. You forgot the recipe." And there it is. That's the punchline. He's lost the actual food, the main ingredient, but he's somehow comforting himself with the fact that the thief doesn't have the instructions. I mean, it's a funny line, for sure, but it's also really, really profound. So let's unpack what this little story is actually trying to tell us about, well, about us. That brings us to the absurd consolation. This story is the perfect example of something we could call absurd consolation. You know what I mean? It's that thing we humans do where we find comfort in some small, secondary, often totally irrelevant detail right after we've lost the main thing. We're basically grabbing onto the wrong thing to make ourselves feel better. So let's break this down. The liver, that's the real deal. That's the substance, the essential thing we lost. It could be a relationship, a job, a big opportunity. And the recipe? Well, that's just the form. It's the secondary detail that we cling to for comfort. But let's be real, without the liver, the recipe is just a useless piece of paper, right? And here's the dangerous side of this, what you might call the shadow paradox. Because this isn't always just a harmless little quirk. It can actually become a really powerful form of denial. It's a way for us to avoid facing the real pain of what we've lost. We tell ourselves, well, at least I still have the recipe, because it's just too painful to admit the liver is gone. Now, this might be an ancient story, but I guarantee you this exact same thing is happening all around us every single day. Which brings us perfectly to our next section, our modern misfocus, and how this old tale applies from Nasruddin right to you and me. I mean, just think about it for a second. A huge project at work completely fails, but we're patting ourselves on the back because, hey, the PowerPoint slides looked amazing. That's the recipe. Or a serious relationship ends, and what are we arguing about? Who gets to keep the Netflix password? That's the recipe. We are constantly losing the substance, the liver, and clinging to the form, the recipe. So this really begs an important question, one I think we should all ask ourselves. Just take a second and think about your own life. What are the recipes you're focusing on? And what's the liver, the real essential thing, that you might be avoiding by focusing on that recipe? Okay, so just recognizing this pattern in ourselves is a huge first step. But the next step is figuring out what to do about it. So let's dive into a practical guide on how to focus and, how to start prioritizing the liver again. And we could apply this pretty much everywhere. On a personal level, it's about having the courage to face loss head on. When it comes to our relationships, we can be the ones who model this kind of focus for other people. And at work, it's about building a culture where people face reality instead of getting lost in meaningless details. Now, as you start to do this, you've got to watch out for a few common pitfalls. It's so easy to confuse clinging to the recipe with being wise or practical, or to believe that if you just perfect the details, it'll somehow make up for losing the main thing. But most important of all, you have to be really honest with yourself. Is this comfort helping you heal, or is it just helping you hide? And that really brings us to the core of it all, the final crucial question in our last section here. Is it consolation, or is it avoidance? You know, it's funny. Almost every major spiritual and wisdom tradition in the world tells us the exact same thing. Real wisdom isn't about finding a clever trick to ignore your pain. It's about finding the courage to look your loss straight in the eye. So what does the path forward actually look like? Well, it's something like this. First, you face the loss of the liver. You just acknowledge it's gone. Then you can find appropriate consolation, something that actually helps, not the absurd kind. And from that place, you can start to refocus on what really matters now and slowly begin to let go of your attachment to what you lost. That, right there, is the path to actually healing. So the next time you experience a loss, big or small, and you feel yourself reaching for a recipe, just pause and ask yourself this one simple question. At what point does my comfort become my hiding place? At what point does my consolation become avoidance? Because the answer to that, well, it just might change everything for you.